Mike, it's a pleasure to be in Vancouver again in January and be speaking, with you.
Yeah, good to see you again, Robert.
So last year, January 2025, we were here. We did the interview presentation, and the stock was about 25 cents a share. Powerful transformational year for Sitka Gold in 2025, a 5x from low to high approximately. How do you top that in 2026?
Find more gold.
Pretty simple.
Right? I mean, one of the big news, when we met you, we were updating our mineral resource estimate on the Blackjack deposit, and it grew from under 1 million ounces to about 2.3 million ounces if you combine inferred and indicated, what I'm not allowed to do, but anybody that's got grade 3 math can do that. But then a big focus of this year was in 2024, we drilled 2 holes into the Rhosgobel area. First time in drilling into this new area. And this year we drilled in 41 holes. We're looking at 10,000 meters. We upped it to almost 13,000 because the drill core looked so good. And we've discovered a new deposit. There's dimensions to it. So now, just as yesterday, we released the final 15 holes on that Rhosgobel deposit. So we're in the process of doing an initial mineral resource estimate. And I emphasize initial. This deposit is open along strike, the depth to the north and south. Next year, we're fully financed. We've got 45 million, planning on 60,000 meters of drilling, doubling last year's total, with the goal of, not only still growing Blackjack and Eiger, because they're not drilled off yet, there's still work to do there, but also really defining the size of this Rhosgobel deposit. It truly looks like it is going to be the largest deposit on the property. It has that potential. So that's the deal. See how big Rhosgobel it is, and then we have a whole bunch of other exploration targets that can add incrementally, or maybe we make another discovery like Rhosgobel. So, and then that sets the stage. We'll have a great baseline of a gold inventory, and then we start doing our economic studies into 2027.
So the resource for Rhosgobel, to be clear, which holes will that include?
1 to 43.
1 to 43.
Every
okay.
single hole.
So the holes,
mineralization.
So all the holes you drilled.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
And you're going to put out a resource soon on that.
Yeah, we've got all the data now. It's
Wow.
in the hands of an independent, consultant.
So things happen faster these days, huh?
Well, I mean, obviously we had some holes sooner than later, right? So we've just put out and received the last 15. So the guy doing the modeling just needs those to finish it off.
I mean, I love it. There's no complaints from my side. I'm just used to companies saying, "Oh, it's going to take us 4 months to work on the resource," or something.
Yeah, no, we think it's really important to get it out, because right now, when you look at Blackjack and Eiger, we're up close to 3 million ounces. We add Rhosgobel, our global resource could grow substantially to, a number that really catches people's attention.
So tell us about Rhosgobel. You reported a hole the other day, like 150 meters of 1.5 grams, basically from surface. That's a very nice intercept, especially in a $5,000 gold price environment. That's some nice rock.
Yeah.
So tell us, what's the scale of this now?
So we've drilled it over 1.1 kilometer strike length. So east-west, we have a good idea of how the mineralization is. So it is still open in the east-west direction. We haven't got out to the margins of the intrusion. And the deepest hole is 400 meters. So we've hit mineralization down there. So we still have to define how deep does this thing go. And then as well, when you look at a map on our press releases, there's soil geochem that suggests there's more width to this zone. So we have to drill to the north, south, east, west, and down deep. And we haven't talked about the tungsten. I don't know if you're going to lead into that.
Let's talk about the tungsten. Yeah. So tell us about the tungsten, because that is a big conversation today, considering that China dominates the tungsten market.
Yeah, it's a critical metal, and these reduced intrusion related gold deposits in the Tombstone tungsten suite, that's what that belt of granites is called, and they're known to have tungsten mineralization associated with them. When we're logging this Rhosgobel deposit, it's like, wow, there's a lot of tungsten in here. You can lamp it, it glows under ultraviolet light. But when you're assaying for gold, you only get a partial digestion of tungsten. So it's there, but you don't have a good grip on exactly how much. So we've done 2 holes now, hole 2 and hole 4 that we just released yesterday, in using better assay techniques to see which works best to really put a quantity on the tungsten values. So now we've just submitted an additional 32 of the 43 holes for additional tungsten analysis, over 5,500 samples. Wow. That's in the lab, and when we receive all that, we'll be able to look at the tungsten endowment and do a resource on that.
Maybe a resource on the tungsten.
Yeah, and it's a byproduct, right? You recover it through gravity methods. You recover gold through gravity methods. So we have to do metallurgy and a lot of work to see its viability as a byproduct, but it's very intriguing, let's put it that way.
How might tungsten help on the permitting side of things, or even maybe some federal funding?
Exactly. I mean, it's a critical metal and one of the more important ones. So it'll attract attention, and it might have some benefits for additional funding. You know, other folks have got funding for having a critical metal like that. So it opens up some other doors. So the first part of that is to understanding how much tungsten is there, doing a resource.
How much you can get actually out of the rock, right?
Yeah, exactly. We were just at a critical metals event put on by the Canadian government in New York this week, and they invited precious metals companies, and we were one of them. There was a couple other Yukon companies there, Forte and Banyan, and when I talked about the tungsten, it really caught a lot of people's attention.
Yeah, and so the tungsten price is like 5x the copper price, or maybe even a little more than 5x.
$60,000 US a metric ton
unit
last time I looked. So
so it is 6x. Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot. So as a byproduct, it could add a significant component.
Very good. Very good. So tell us about some of the step out targets. Bear Paw looks pretty interesting.
Yep, Bear Paw, it's received a fair bit of historical drilling, maybe about 5,000 meters back in 2010, 2011. So we just put 1 hole into it. We use oriented diamond drill core to get a good idea of it. It's had some higher grade hits in the past, and we got a nice high grade hit out of it. So it's a big target for next year. Then we have the Contact and the Pukoman, where we've had some earlier results this year. Again, we released the last 6 holes on there. So they're both really good exploration targets. Best hole in Contact was like 119 meters and 1.05 grams from surface. It's more of a structurally controlled zone. There's higher grades within that. So we're starting to piece those together and looking at these broad zones of mineralization with smaller, higher grades in them. So developing those earlier stage targets, and then beyond Pukum and Contact, Bear Paw, we've got a couple drill holes in Josephine intrusion that we did in 2023. We've got other targets, the Big Creek stock that's on strike with Rhosgobel. This is a target-rich environment. We have 11 intrusions on the property, all with associated gold mineralization. So a lot of work ahead of us, but critical is reaching that kind of critical mass in your gold endowment that you can move into the economic studies, and everything behind that is gravy at maybe finding another higher grade deposit that really impacts your economics, or just anything we find increases potential mine
Very
life.
good. Tell us about the drill program planned in 2026. Like, when is it going to start? How many rigs are you going to use? How big is it going to be, et cetera?
Yeah, we're fully financed. So we've signed a contract for up to 60,000 meters, double what we did last year. Probably half of that is going to go into Rhosgobel to help define the size of that resource. So we can then have that baseline of a gold resource to move into economic studies. The rest will be used, at Bear Paw, Saddle, and Eiger to growing those resources and upgrade that. As you mentioned, Bear Paw will put a fair amount of drilling into that because there's a good footprint there, and that stuff, it's about 1 kilometer off the Rhosgobel intrusion. Very intriguing target, so a lot of work to do there. And then a few other earlier stage targets. So it's spread, it's concentrated in the known deposits, but also testing some of these other areas.
Mike, thank you so much.
Yeah, great talking to you, Robert. It's going to be an awesome year. Looking forward
5X.
to it. Yeah, you bet. Wouldn't that be nice?